Hey there, everyone. This is the Market Dog Queen, and today I got asked a question this morning that I get asked a lot, and that's how do you know when the trade has turned on you? How do you know when it's going to go south? When you should save yourself, when you should get out. And this morning during pre-market, I had a impromptu little class, and we were talking about CLOV, and that's Clover Health. That's CLOV. Now I'll go ahead and open up the chart for CLOV, and I'm going to use this as an example because the member that asked me about this was actually in the trade. All right, they were in CLOV, and they didn't know how you know when the trade has turned on you. Now, I do use a few simple indicators. I am in my Thinkorswim program, and these are the Bollinger Bands, the light purple. I made the upper and lower bands match, so I can always tell that they're part of a set. There is also a center line, which is this blue dashed line. That's the center of the Bollinger Bands. I love the Bollinger Bands. If I had to use only one indicator, I think it would be the Bollinger Bands, honest to God. So I also have VWAP, and that's always indicated by the white dashed line. I like to keep track of where VWAP is, and that helps me decide if a trade is either going bullish or bearish. I also use the TTM squeeze, and down here, MACD and basic volume average. That's it. I use the time and sales. You need to know what is buying, what is selling, how big the orders are. As you can see that we're looking at Clover Health, it's had quite the sell-off today. But how do you know when you're over here pre-market sitting in this big green boner? How do you know that come the market open, which is right where the background turns dark black, how do you know it's going to turn on you? You've got all these indicators, and if we were to look, don't look anywhere past these first three candles right here. 1, 2, and 3. Now it's quite expanded. I've blown it up because I want you to understand that while you're in the trade, you don't see any of this. So you have no idea what the future is going to be doing. All you know is that this is a green candle and that your Bollinger Bands are expanding. And the next candle is above the Bollinger Bands. And so is the next candle. This is all you know come pre-market. You still have, I don't know, let's see, about 20 minutes before the bell. You have no idea the direction once the bell hits. But you do have an indication that something is happening, and that's because of the VWAP line. Now, VWAP kept on going up, 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 and the Bollinger Bands kept going up, 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 and the opposite holds true at the bottom. The bottom would have to keep getting bigger and bigger. All these, because the Bollinger Bands aren't gaping as wide as you would think, and VWAP all of a sudden is starting to turn horizontal. And that's where I take notice. This horizontal line on the VWAP is telling me that the momentum is slowing down. Volume is slowing down. The candles are getting shorter. Now, if I go ahead and zoom back out, I was talking to my members this morning in the trading pit, and I said, we need to watch it right here. This was about 20 minutes before the bell. I said, because VWAP is starting to turn horizontal, I want you to keep an eye on this because this looks to me like it's going to start turning downwards. And as we were discussing, we got our first red candle of a sell-off. We've got our Bollinger Bands starting to also go horizontal, at least the bottom one. This top one is still deciding. And then VWAP, of course, going horizontal. Now down here, my TTM squeeze, it's telling me that things are okay, as you can see. Just like I like to see, the light blue bars are getting bigger and bigger. That's kind of a contradiction into what I'm seeing up here, isn't it? But we've got the bottom Bollinger Band gone horizontal now. It's no longer pointing downwards. And we also have MACD has now gone sideways. You can see the top blue line and then that little white line right there. They have now gone sideways. The volume is quite on a sell-off right here. As you can see, the doji right there, that one right there, it looks like a long-legged doji. Some might even call it just a regular doji. And that is right before the bell. You got VWAP going sideways. You got your center of your Bollinger Bands now deciding to also go horizontal. And the outer bands of the Bollingers are now going horizontal. All of these are saying that the momentum and the volume are drying up, and this is a possible trend reversal. This very much could have contracted on itself, the top Bollinger Band come down, and the lower Bollinger Band come up, and then done a pop. But this one decided to give up the ghost, and then my TTM squeeze went from light blue to dark blue, telling me that it's losing steam. The bell rang. We got our first sell-off. We've got VWAP turned down. We've got a big sell-off volume bar right here. The next candle, big sell-off, drop even lower. MACD just crossed over to the downside. TTM squeeze coming downwards to center. As you can see, it fell right after the bell. It tried to struggle here at the 1435 to 1440 level. It had a hard time holding it. VWAP still coming down. This is just continuance. Once the TTM squeeze goes from the dark blue to the center to the underside. Now we are in true decline. You've got the MACD crossed over and turned downwards over its own center line. You can see the MACD lines going lower and lower and lower. The volume is struggling. It has struggled. It struggled to hold the $14 level. It tested it many times. As you can see right here, tested it here and here and here and here. You see it over and over and over again. And it failed to hold that support of 14. Once it let go of that, it's a free fall. Look, we are now down below the lower Bollinger Bands. The further it gets away from VWAP and the further it climbs downwards. It's just falling, guys, falling. We are going downstairs to the basement. Is this a bounce? It very well could be a bounce, but I would have to look at my MACD. My MACD would need to tell me that the trend is changing, and it would have to squeeze and flip over itself. The yellow TTM squeeze would have to get shorter bars and then pop over to the upside and give me either dark blue or light blue bars. All of this is Clover Health giving me all the signals of a trend reversal. Now the same holds true for a trend reversal when it's going upwards. Case in point, Tesla today. Tesla's doing some amazing things this morning. As you can see, here was pre-market. All of the light gray area is always after hours or pre-market. And you can see that Tesla was trading very much below the VWAP line. It was very tight and it was very unsure of direction come the open. Now, if I pull that and make it bigger, you can see that the candle right here, right before the bell, that candle right there is giving you that good green, warm, fuzzy feeling that you're going upwards. But as you can see, there was a sell-off right at open. That big red candle right there, they sold off. Was this a sign of a trend reversal? Well, I don't know. Let's look at the other indicators. Bollinger Bands don't look like much. VWAP pointing down. I would say that's a sign of a downward trend. You've got the TTM squeeze with the dark blue bars getting smaller, a downward trend. This big red bar right here, that's a big sell-off. That's a downward trend. But the next candle is green, and it's a bullish engulfing candle. And the reason I call it that is because it is bigger than the red candle before. It is taller. It engulfs that small red candle. So we turn to a bullish engulfing trend. Do I like it? Yeah. I'm looking, I'm watching. As you can see, the MACD is very tight, but it crosses over right here on this shorter red candle. A slight sell-off, but still smaller than the bullish engulfing candle before it. The trend is changing at this moment, and you could tell because of VWAP. VWAP is now starting to turn upwards. Remember, you don't see any of this because this happens in real time. So we're just looking at this right as the bell opens. And then the next candle. I am on a 5-day, 5-minute chart. So each of these candles is your 5-minute candle. And then it begins its bullish upper trend. The MACD crosses over and it starts on its upward trend, and you could see it's still going on an incline. The same holds true with the TTM squeeze. Now it did test this level right here, and that was the 680 level. I tried to dial it in. I got as close as I could with this price level line, but it tested it many times, the 680 level, before it decided to bounce up off of it and continue upwards. And we knew this because VWAP was pointing upwards. Your Bollinger Bands are starting to get further and further away from each other, and everything is going higher and higher and higher. The further the candles get away from VWAP on an upper trend, the more bullish the trade is. As you can see, it's already hit 695.70. This one is going. Still continuing. I still like the signs that I'm getting. It's still looking very strong. Time and sales are kicking. I hope this video helped you see when a trade turns against you, what the signs are right before it happens. All right? There are signs right before a trend reversal. They're there. You just have to be looking at them. You have to know how to read your chart. CLOV is taking a major digger today. Is it done falling? I don't think so. VWAP is still way up here. The candles are still pretty far away, but it is testing this support level. As you can see, many times it has tested this level. And again, back to Tesla for the opposite. Go ahead and blow this up. This here when we were unsure of trend, and it went ahead and made the picture much clearer with the indicators that I'm using. Hopefully you can dial in your indicators to see what it is that I see in a trade. Until next time, guys, later.